This is the Keystep 37 from Arturia, and it's probably my favorite MIDI controller ever. If not, it's at least my favorite compact MIDI controller ever. And that's because it's got some really cool scale and chord modes that you can use together to create some really fun, interesting ideas with very little effort. If you start using the chords up here, you just have this in chord mode, and then you start turning this knob, and instead of playing a single note, it'll start playing multiple notes. So it'll start out with an octave. You can see you get multiple octaves here. You can control how many notes you're playing total with this knob. And then from here, if we go up from an octave, we get to a fifth. So now we're getting a fifth all the way up for as many notes as we want again. And then from there, we get a sus chord, a minor triad, a minor 7 chord, a minor 9 chord, minor 11 chord, I believe that's a major triad there. And then we get into those major extensions, major 7, major 9, and major 11. Little funky, but it's there. But what's really interesting about these is when you start using these chord modes with the scale modes. So if I hit shift, you'll notice that I'm just in chromatic mode, meaning that I have access to every key on the keyboard and it's going to play exactly what that key is. Now, if I switch over to a different mode, like a major mode, if I hold that down, I can see over here is where I can pick out what key I want to be in, what major key. So let's say I want to be in G major. Now every key is only going to play something in G major. So I'll turn this back down to one single note, and then I'll start playing from a G. You'll notice the next note up, it doesn't play that A flat for me because A flat's not in G major. It stays on the G. Then it goes to A. Same thing, it won't give me the B flat, it's staying on the A. Which is kind of interesting in itself, but once you combine it with the chord modes, that's where it gets way more interesting. So if I go ahead and pull up, let's say one of the minor chords, a minor 7 chord. This is an A minor 7, which is in G, but if I go down to G, a G minor 7 is not going to be in the key of G major. And you'll notice it plays different notes. It doesn't play a minor chord. It picks close notes, similar notes to what are in G major. And if I keep going to other notes, you'll notice it's playing something. It's not necessarily a minor chord, but it's playing about that, but always in the key of whatever scale we have picked, which is really cool. That allows you to play all kinds of different chords without even really thinking much. You can go ahead and just start hitting keys and figure out a chord progression pretty easily. Literally just random keys are going to pull up cool chords that are in one single key. We can also change the key to a minor key, blues, or a user selected key. So on this one, you can see the notes I have selected on the left side here are C, D, E flat, F, G, and then B flat. So it's similar to like a C minor pentatonic, but with a D added. And again, it will just pick chords within that note selection. So I'll go ahead and switch to a different chord. Let's do a major 9. And then we have a couple other really interesting options over here as well. So this third knob controls velocity to notes. That just means if I turn it up all the way, it's going to play more notes the harder I play the key, and then the softer I play it, the less notes it'll play. So I'll go ahead and turn this up to give it 10 notes, up to 10 notes to choose from. And then I'll just start playing one single note, but I'll do it with different velocities, with different pressures to see how many notes you get out of different key presses here. If I go down a little bit, it sounds pretty cool too. And then this fourth knob is a strum knob, and you get positive or negative values out of it. So right now, if it's at the top, it's set to 0. If we go up, it'll start strumming up, and it'll start quickly. And the more we turn it up, the slower it'll strum. Really cool sounding. And then if we go negative, it'll strum in the other direction. So right now I currently have this plugged into an MPC sampler, but you can of course just play it directly into a computer. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up a different patch on my MPC. I'm thinking maybe a synth of some sort. Let me see what I can find here. It almost feels like you can't play something that sounds bad because you're just locked into a certain note set. No matter what you hit, you're always going to be playing notes out of whatever scale you have selected. So all you can do is just, go ahead and twist these knobs, try different things, and everything is going to sound at least somewhat interesting or not dissonant and really bad at least. So it's a really fun, interesting option for exploring different sounds. Like I really think they actually nailed this name, Sound Explorers. That's definitely what this type of thing feels like. And maybe from here, I'll go back over to the major mode and I'll select a different chord. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and try pulling up a patch that's a little bit more of a softer pad. We'll see what that sounds like. Cool. Let's go ahead and try one more patch. Let's try something that's a little more plucky sounding, like almost like a string instrument. So if you liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. It would really help me out a lot, and I'll catch you next time. Later.